Speaking of new gadgets, by the way, Jared, if you tuned into our last episode, we did hint at some big news, and I don't know if I think we might have revealed it, but I have got myself a camper van, or a van, and I'm slowly but surely converting it into a camper van, and I'm excited.
That will be a camper van. Congratulations! Exactly. Oh, hold on. Oh, shoot.
A little quiet, but I can hear you. What we need to come up with a good name for it. You know, I don't know what to call it yet, because it seems like all the van lifers I've been learning all of this great stuff from on YouTube, they always have cool names for their vans.
Yeah.
You know,
you also have to learn how to take a picture.
Also true.
I'm gonna have to teach you how to use your phone.
Yep, it's gonna be difficult.
Because
I do. Speaking of that,
you're
gonna
have like 10,000 Instagram followers, and as soon as after your first trip, it's gonna be like your back door's open to a beautiful sunrise.
Exactly. Speaking of the van and everything, where was I? I lost my train of thought when we started talking about pictures. The thing I was thinking about, Jared, speaking of the van life and everything, is I do want to put a little dash thing so I can stick my phone up there, and I'm assuming you could probably just use your phone as a camera, right? I mean, you don't like I see a lot of people use like a GoPro, and that gets really, really good footage. Like I'm talking about like for like a scenic drive. Do you think an iPhone would work, or should you go with a GoPro?
Well, the thing about the iPhone is, like if you wanted to, how long do you want the video to be? I think that's the only thing. Because at least in my experience, if you do a long video like we did when we tried to record a podcast in 4K on Don's iPhone, that ended up being like 200 gigabytes or some crazy shit. The transferring that to a computer
will be pretty difficult.
A headache,
I would say.
So,
right.
And I mean, a GoPro is just easier because you can just use a memory card.
That's true.
And if you're going to be driving, you might actually want to be using your phone. So to just have it be using video for hours might interfere with its normal functions as of I don't know. Can you do video and navigation at the same time?
I don't know. Well, as we've talked about, I did get that surprise GPS, Jared. So we don't need to worry about the navigation.
I guess so. I mean, yeah. What are you going to do with this video anyway? You don't do anything on social media.
I don't know yet. That's what we'll have to figure out.
You post terrible memes once every 6 months.
I don't even think I'm posting memes anymore. I've just been lurking on social media, basically.
So what are you going to do with this video?
I don't know. I kind of want it one for myself, but if we can get some good footage, I mean, obviously we can use it for something maybe.
Okay. Listen, I don't know. Try your iPhone. But I think a GoPro would be the way to go.
Would be the way to go. All right. Well, I'm going to have to. I do still have some money in my van budget, and maybe that might be worth the money.
And if you do the GoPro, theoretically, you can also get a like one of those little suction thingies and stick it outside of the car, so you're not getting a view of a reflection of a windshield.
Oh, that's a good call. Very good call.
All right.
Well. Anyways, yeah. So excited about the van though. Got some stuff coming in, and hoping to go on some trips around Michigan. So stay tuned, folks, and I'm sure we'll be talking about it later on the pod.
You're going on the road
again. You better believe it. It's due time, Jared. It's far overdue, I would say. That's for sure.
Are you getting some sort of travel itch as someone that's usually in a different country every?
Yes. Although I do have somewhat good news. Well, we'll see what happens. But I think I've mentioned before, I'm hoping to head to Germany in July for a friend's wedding. Yeah. Knocking on some wood, we'll see. I'm hopeful. He's optimistic.
I've talked to some people discussing some travel ideas this year, and I'm like, and I've been invited to some of these things, and it's like I don't even know what to say because it's like I don't know. It's like I don't know.
Well, that's what you say. You say idea. I don't know.
No idea where I'm going to, like where the pandemic will be in July. I can't commit to like parties and trips to exotic locations. I don't know. It's like I don't know. Actually, my parents got the first round of the vaccine today. I saw
nice.
That was cool to see.
Nice. My dad did as well. So apparently complaining
nice.
last episode or the episode before, whichever one I was complaining, apparently the Washtenaw County health officials heard my complaints or something.
This is why we have a podcast.
Exactly.
We're saving people's lives.
Right. Speaking of saving lives, Jared, I was watching a video by some YouTubers I really like, Abba and Preach. Maybe you've heard of them before. But anyway,
Abba, the Swedish Abba?
No, ABA. Abba and Preach. They do like commentary and video
and
reviews.
Preach was like Abba. Oh, I see.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
No, two dudes. They're awesome. Shout out to those guys. But anyways, they had an episode about. It was funny. They were talking about. They were actually talking about like the manosphere and the red pill and all that stuff, which we did an episode on a little while back. But what was interesting is they talked about the fact that. Or they referenced the comment. It was either a comment or something where someone said, I think it was like, it might have even been a tweet where someone said, guys will start a podcast before they go to see a therapist or something like that. And I was kind of laughing a little bit about it and cracking up because
everybody has a podcast.
Right.
It's what you do.
That is true. But I will say, I mean, I think about you and I, and we've definitely talked about stuff. I feel like in a lot of ways, this is definitely therapeutic. All jokes aside, it kind of is.
Sure. So speaking, I guess I'll put in the song somewhere. The song has been heard and played at this point, and you guys can also, by the way, follow us on Twitter, Untranslatable1, the number 1.
Spread a little love,
and also Instagram. Apparently, where Chad will be posting these exotic pictures of him in his van and exotic locations.
We still need to come up with a name for that bad boy.
Oh yeah, hit us up.
Yep.
Chad could post a picture of the van. He won't, but he could. And then if he did that, people could comment on that picture with ideas for a name.
That's true.
These are all great ideas. That won't happen.
It's all a learning experience, Jared.
Or you could give us 5-star reviews. That's
Definitely.
always nice.
Пожалуйста.
We always appreciate that. So, dude, by the way, we were talking about people trying to travel and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, no, this is ridiculous. But I have a would you rather on some, if you were to travel, whose method would you most prefer?
Ooh, let's do this. I'm curious.
There's the Chinese method. There's the Dutch method. And there's the American method. Which one would you like to hear first of those three? I'll tell you all three.
You said Chinese first, so let's.
All right,
let's hear
go
from
through
them.
it. Mm-hmm. These are just the three, and I'll go through, and then you can tell me which one you'd prefer. China's anal test for coronavirus upset visitors. Beijing. This is from Reuters. Foreign visitors have been upset by China's anal swab test for COVID-19, prompting complaints of inconvenience and even psychological trauma and stoking debate over their necessity.
Was that a Freudian slip right there, Jared?
A few cities, such as the capital, Beijing, Shanghai, and the port city of Qingdao, require the checks. Excuse me?
Qingdao,
Quyin.
Yep.
Qingdao. Okay. Qingdao require the checks in addition to nasal or throat swab test for some international arrivals, state media says. What are anal swabs, you ask? The Chinese Center for Disease Control says the test is performed with a sterile cotton swab, which looks like a very long earbud. That is inserted
that's
3 centimeters to 5 centimeters. That is, just think of a 3 to 5 centimeter long AirPod, or 1.2 to 2 inches, into the anus before being gently rotated out. Why anal swabs? Such tests can ensure infections are spotted, since coronavirus traces can be detectable in the anus for longer than the respiratory tract, some Chinese doctors told state media. Well, if you remember that Scrubs episode, they say the answer's in the poo.
That is true.
They say if you have any sort of,
teach you a lot about you.
and it's a common, it's a rather, if I'm not mistaken, common way to get medical information from people. They have they say, hey, shit in this bag and give it to us, and we'll tell you what's wrong with you.
Yep, that's true.
But a positive result does not necessarily mean the person tested can spread the virus, as inactive trace is unable to replicate or infect others. can also show positive. Jin Dongyan, a virology professor at the University of Hong Kong, Hong Kong told Reuters. And it's I believe it's for foreigners only as well. Earlier this week, Tokyo complained about the test on some Japanese travelers to China, saying they had caused great psychological pain. South Korean visitors can now submit stool samples instead of Chinese authorities taking them directly. So you could also do that instead, to be fair.
Perfect. Just what I was planning on
Choi
doing.
Young Sam, a spokesman of the South Korean Foreign Ministry, said on Tuesday. Last month, U.S. media outlet Vice cited a State Department official as saying U.S. diplomats have been subjected to the test. A Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman said that to his knowledge, such tests have not been required on U.S. diplomats in China.
I'm sure my boss is glad he got to China before the butt swab became a thing. I'll have to ask him.
So that's option number one. Mm-hmm. Also from Reuters, by the way. This is proper research I did here.
Yep, I see that.
This is the Dutch method.
Okay.
Scream, not swab. Dutch inventor hopes he can... he's discovered
scream? Is that
new
what you
COVID
said?
test. Scream.
Okay.
A Dutch inventor has come up... A Dutch... yeah, dude, I'm watching the fucking videos, and that's what's happening. You could... I don't know if there's sound that... there's probably sound that I can play here. I'll play it.
Please play this. I gotta hear
Hold
this.
on 1 second. Let me do this so I'm not making a bunch of noise. Anyway,
But
I'll
see,
start reading.
how loud do you have to scream?
Let me read this. Let me read this. Hold on.
This is hilarious, the Dutch method.
A Dutch inventor has come up with what he hopes could be a potentially faster and easier method to screen for coronavirus infections. Instead of unpleasant nasal swabs, Peter van Wies asks participants to step into an airlock cabin and to scream or sing. An industrial air purifier collects all the particles emitted, which are then analyzed for the virus. If you have coronavirus and you are infected, infectious and yelling and screaming, you are spreading tens of thousands of particles which contain coronavirus, Van Wies said. Van Wies, a serial entrepreneur, has set up his booth next to a coronavirus testing center on the outskirts of Amsterdam to try his invention out on people who have just been tested. It's always very nice to scream when nobody can hear you, though, said Soraya Assad. I'm sorry, I butchered that. 25, who needed proof of a negative coronavirus test for a trip to Spain. Van Wies says that although lots of small particles from the person's clothes and breath are detected, an infection shows up as a cluster around the size of the coronavirus. The process takes about 3 minutes. The virus is identified by its size using a nanometer scale sizing device. He says the machine as a potential. He sees the machine as a potentially useful screening tool at concerts, airport. Oh, I could totally see that at concerts, bro.
That's hilarious.
Some drunken idiots going into a concert.
Of course,
I could totally see that.
Of course,
airport, schools. That seems like a fun one too. Offices. Right. I don't know if I want to scream at my office. Spokesman.
Well, it's a good way to, to start your day, Jared. Before you go in the screaming booth real quick, make sure you don't got the vid, and then you keep going.
Hey, Jared, are you screaming my name in there? I thought I heard you say, "Fuck Michael." Bro, I don't know what you're talking about. No, I was just screaming a song. I was like, no, I have no idea what you're talking about. And it's like, oh man, I hate you. Spokesman Geert Westerhuis of the Westerhuis of the Netherlands National Institute of Health, RIVM, which is not involved in the project, said it is looking at an array of tested strategies. Okay, whatever. Or the final option is the U.S. option, which this is only happening a part of the U.S. Texas, Mississippi, Ohio, Louisiana, which is where my parents live, Louisiana. So good thing that my parents got that freaking vaccine. The YOLO method. All open, no mask requirements, 100% open, everything 100% capacity. The live your life method, as I
This is Merker method. The freedom method.
Yeah,
when I say
the don't tread on me method.
Right. Or the freedom method where it's spelled FREEDUMB. Freedom.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest with you. I might take the Dutch method. That sounds like fun.
Really? I can't imagine you screaming.
I mean, I'm not a yeller or a screamer, but hey, we can try it out. Maybe that'll chill me out before the trip a little bit.
Not a yeller or a screamer.
All that pent up energy, Jared.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Pent up rage from not traveling for almost a year. You'd go with the Chinese method, I betcha, right? It's more accurate. Or would you take the Korean modification where you just and how does that even work, dude? Just bring a stool sample. Sure, let me just.
Or maybe you do it in the bathroom at like the airport that you're at or something, or they have like a specific room.
That would be a smelly plane ride.
Or no, you don't take it with you. You do it before you get on the plane.
What if you don't have to go?
That's your problem. That's not their problem.
You're just straight.
Then they're like, then here's our 5 centimeter AirPod. Bend over then.
Right.
And they say no. It's like, all right, go home. I don't know what to tell you.
That's true. Yeah. Oh man, it's crazy. I'm wondering how traveling will work once more people are vaccinated. Some people have been saying that they predict there will be like a vaccine type of passport you could have, but we'll see. I mean, I don't know. Will all countries just accept?
People do have papers, vaccine papers. I've seen them on Instagram and Twitter.
Oh yeah.
That's the newest ultimate social media flex is the vaccine.
That's true.
If my dad has an Instagram, if he knew anything about social media, he would know that he should be.
You better send him a text after the podcast and tell him to get with it.
Hashtag vaccinated.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, but good for them though. That's good, and we'll get there eventually, slowly but surely. We're working from home. I'm not in a huge rush. It'd be nice, but there are people that need it a little bit more than Jared and I do right now.
I went to a store today. Mm-hmm. And the guy, it was like a local store. The guy behind the counter, and listen, I'm still slightly, it's weird, but the dude behind the counter didn't have a mask on. It blew my freaking mind. The guy working there.
Why?
I don't know. I wasn't gonna ask questions. But I didn't notice until I was already there was really no one in there. There was only one person in front of me in line, but I didn't notice until I was in line. And honestly, it took a minute to register
what you were seeing
because I was just standing there obviously with my mask on, and I was like, something seems odd about that dude. And I was like, I can see his face. Right. I was like, what? Honestly, I should have left, but there was no one in the store, and I was the next person in line, and I didn't leave. Mm-hmm. But I didn't say anything just because I don't do confrontation, but I so want it to be like, what's with the the lack of mask?
Were they an older person?
No, he was probably around our age.
Okay.
But it seemed like I'm not gonna. I don't know, but it felt like some sort of act of defiance. What else would it be? On the freaking door, he doesn't own the place. He's not the owner of the place. I don't imagine.
That you know of.
I don't think so. On the door, it says mask required. So it's not like. So he's. It's like. So it's not. So if that's why I think it feels like some level of defiance. Although
I feel like there are a lot of people like that though. When I went to the dealership to pick up the van, there were a lot of people in there that were at their desk, dude. and it's like a cubicle. It's not like a room. You know what I mean? If it was a shut off room, I would get it a little bit more. But
the automotive industry, and I don't mean like people that work at offices, but I mean like shops, mechanic shops are the worst, dude. I've been into a couple. My car. I put snow tires on my car, and I had to go to I stopped going to one because they switched over. Like the people that work there didn't wear masks. No one wore a mask, but the people that actually work behind the counter, they just had like a plexiglass thing in front of the counter. But then
that's going to do a lot
to get from the counter to the shop area. They had to go from in front of the counter to a door that was in front of the counter. And so it's like, okay, so I check out, but then you go over to where the cars are and you walk right in front of me. And I'm like, well, it was like, and so
What's the point of that then?
and so I went to a different one, and at least the people working there behind the counter were wearing a mask, but you could still see the people working on the cars not. It's so frustrating, and I feel like the longer we go, I feel like people are getting more and more defiant.
Yeah,
and I walk by restaurants and stuff, and I'm like, oh, people really just do not care. Oh, do you want to hear the? Oh no, let's see if we can. I forgot about. Oh man, I lost. No, let's not worry about it. I forgot about the scream. Oh, here it is.
Oh,
do you want to hear it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, the Dutch scream.
All right, let's see how this goes. Oh God.
That's hilarious.
And they have like people locked in the chamber. This person.
Is it? Do you think it's sound? Are the walls like soundproofed? I mean, obviously not fully. I like how they have this like
spreading and yelling.
That's
I like how
scary.
they have that like goofy
You're spreading-
background music going on while
Yeah.
the screams are going on in the background.
That's
That's
Peter
funny.
Van Vies. Yeah. It looks pretty thick, but I can't imagine that it would be like there's probably no benefit to it being soundproof. You know, it has to be locked
Well,
in
you're
enough
not
where-
bothering who's outside. Is I guess the reason. I feel like the Europeans are a little bit more concerned about their neighbors than we are, Jared. If we're being honest,
How bothersome could someone screaming be?
bro, can you imagine if you had a bunch of people every day,
If you lived on
every
like the,
day?
If you lived on like the third floor of an apartment and your bedroom was was right outside on the first floor was the screaming booth.
Right.
Do you think you could hear it and it would bother you?
I don't know.
People are getting tests at like 7 a.m. and you just wake up
Right,
to
you're
people
trying to
screaming.
sleep, and all you hear is just. Yeah, I don't know. It's
I doubt it. I doubt it.
yeah,
I
probably not. But
It's probably not
still.
soundproof, but I still I think it's there's enough insulation where if you're like a couple floors up, it's not waking you up. I don't know. Listen,
Right.
I don't know. It could.
Yeah. Well, Jared, I think it's time that we spread a little love.
Spread a little love.
I do have a shout out. This is a great headline and a great story. It comes from CNN. A Pennsylvania town surprised its UPS driver with a $1,000 gift. A $1,000 gift. I don't know if it's a gift or a gift card, thanking him for his hard work during the pandemic. And I mean, if you know anything about what's been going on, I mean, the amount of demand for delivery drivers right now, and just they've been working their tails off. And it's great to see that this town has, realized this guy's efforts and has thanked him for it. And listen to this, dude. I think he has the best name for a UPS driver. One, because his first name's badass, but two, his last name's pretty perfect for a driver. UPS driver Chad Turns was surprised by the residents of Dauphin, Pennsylvania with a $1,000 gift thanking him for his work during the COVID-19 pandemic. A UPS driver was moved to tears after his customers in Pennsylvania showed their appreciation in a big way. Chad Turns, I love that name, dude. That is awesome. Maybe that's what I need to name my van is Chad Turns. Anyways, Chad Turns delivers for UPS in the small town of Dauphin, Pennsylvania, and is beloved by his customers, said resident Jenny Shickley. As seen in a video posted to Facebook by Adam Shickley, Jenny Shickley's husband, when Turns drove into a parking lot for what he thought was a pickup on Tuesday, he was greeted instead by a dozen residents clapping and yelling, "Thank you, Chad." Turns was so overcome with emotion that he pulled out his handkerchief to wipe his eyes. The whole town has had personal experiences with Chad. Adam Shickley said he once thought a package was a gift, and there was a picture on the front. My kids were playing outside, so he waited until his shift was done and came back to make sure they didn't see it. Dang, dude, that's some extra effort right there. Turns is well known for his thoughtfulness and kindness, even after working many long hours during the COVID-19 pandemic. So anyways, and also shout out to the Shickley family because they're the ones who organized the special event after people commented in a group on Facebook about what a good job the delivery driver was doing. And they raised $1,000 for him and gave it to him as a gift. So I think this is a great story, about a community coming together and appreciating someone who clearly has gone above and beyond to help out people in the community. I know he's doing his job, but I would argue he's definitely doing definitely a lot more than just the bare minimum. So shout out to you, Mr. Turns, and shout out to also the Shickley family as well for organizing such a great event and showing your appreciation. I think that's an awesome story.
It's everyone's turn to do the right thing, and Turns has stepped up to the plate.
See what you did there. See what you did there. Well, Jared, I think we should turn the topic and do what we do best here, Jared, if you happen to know what time it is. It is now that time.
Oh, yeah.
The Untranslatable Owl is never late, Jared. It's time for some untranslatables.
Did you go Office Space baseball bat on your untranslatable clock? Because I haven't heard that. I'm back. I'm back. Somehow we'll fix that. I'll work around that. I accidentally knocked anyway. Did you do something to that clock?
It's a secret.
Okay.
Listen. We're not allowed to reveal the secret of the Untranslatable Owl.
No questions asked.
It's the all-knowing Untranslatable Owl, Jared.
Well, I'm glad it's living on forever in my soundboard.
Exactly, and I'll get us started today with some untranslatables, which are idioms, proverbs, sayings, axioms that don't always translate on a one-to-one basis in English, and we are your tried and true untranslatable professionals. Certified by the Untranslatable Board of Commission of Excellence, here to bring you some untranslatables. And I will get us started, Jared, with a Chinese untranslatable. We'll see if I can say this one right. I highly doubt it, but that's also the fun of trying out these untranslatables. Here we go. Tanhua Luan Shui. Tanhua Luan Shui. I'm sure I said that wrong. And it stands for, the characters read heaven, flowers, disorder, chaos or riot, and then fall. So wow. Heaven, flowers, disorder, fall.
That sounds like the lyrics to like a My Chemical Romance song or something.
I mean, that is they did model their in Chinese or the translation.
The translation.
The translation is heaven, flowers, disorder, fall.
Heaven, flowers, disorder, fall. Yeah, I can totally see that.
Sure.
Heaven, what is that like? There's like a beauty to chaos or something.
No. Let me try to help you because this one is a really difficult one.
Chinese untranslatables are very difficult.
They are, and they always have. This one I don't know the history of it, but a lot of times they do have some interesting historical anecdotes. Anyways,
some story.
Right. Let me help you and actually translate this one closer to what it means, and I hope this won't give it away. A mouth like running water is the closest translation they have for it.
Gossips a lot. Someone that can't keep a secret. Someone that talks a lot, very loquacious. Doesn't have to be a bad thing. But
what would we call someone? What's a slang term for someone who talks a lot?
A chatty Cathy.
There's one of them. I was also looking for chatterbox.
Oh, that works too. What the hell is a chatterbox, by the way?
Chatterbox. It's someone or some
chatterbox
that talks too much.
Okay, there you go. I thought it must be like something though, like a thing.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, I have two untranslatables, and they're both from Georgia, not the state. Georgia, by the way, another one of those let me live states because I see a video every week of clubs and.
Oh, really?
And, Bow Wow did a concert. Not just
really?
Bow Wow. A bunch of people have done concerts. Where have you been? You haven't seen any of these where Atlanta's just wide open? People are living their life.
Oh, Atlanta! I thought you were talking
Georgia.
about the country. I thought you were talking about the country. That's why I was surprised. No, I'm not surprised about Atlanta, Georgia. No.
I see. Okay. Yeah. No. I'm not. I'm
got
talking
my
about,
Georgia's confused there. Sorry, Jared.
I don't know what the COVID situation is in Georgia, the country. I do know in Georgia, the state, they don't seem to be too concerned. Georgia, by the way, I don't know how you explain their characters, but they're gorgeous. But I also obviously have the translation here for a plebe like me. Kalakshi Satsobia. A cork in the city. There's a cork in the city.
A cork in the city. Something that doesn't matter. It's insignificant.
It's more literal than that.
A cork in the city. More literal than that.
It's actually related to
when
the city. Is what I'm saying.
When the city is like quiet.
A cork. What does a cork do?
It bottles things up. So when a city is under lockdown?
No, it's a little, but maybe it's 5 o'clock.
Oh, does this just mean rush hour traffic?
No,
or
not
it's
rush
busy?
hour specifically, but a bad traffic jam.
Oh, bad traffic jam. Okay. Okay.
A cork
That's
in
a
the
good
city.
one. That's a good one. Okay. Let me give you a Portuguese. I guess that's redundant. Let me give you a Portuguese phrase here.
I don't think it's redundant. I think it's fair to say that because there might be, I don't know, but there might be more Brazilian Portuguese speakers than Portugal Portuguese speakers.
Probably.
I just imagine that the population is a lot higher or bigger in Brazil than it is Portugal.
I would think so. Yeah. So this one is estar com os azeites, which means be with the olive oils.
Be with the olive oils. Oh yeah, by the way, Brazil's population is 211. Portugal is 10 million.
Oh yeah. So I think that's a safe bet then.
It's probably more Brazilian Portuguese speakers. What about olive oil again?
Be with the olive oils.
Is that just like go with the flow?
I would say the opposite.
Oh,
Gotta do the quick hang loose,
But it's the opposite. So someone that's not hanging loose, someone that's stuck uptight.
Okay, and if you're uptight, how would you describe someone's mood?
Oily.
Yes, you're getting closer. What doesn't mix with oil? No, I'm leading you down the wrong direction here. Let me give you an example here, Jared. Let me give you an example.
So
I got a good one.
Like standoffish.
Nope.
So
okay.
Slippery, untrustworthy.
Standoffish. No, I wouldn't say untrustworthy. Standoffish, you're getting warmer. Let me give you an example. So say we're 5 minutes into our podcast recording, and unlike today, I forget to give you co-host abilities, and so we stop the recording, and you say, "Chad, give me co-host abilities," and of course, like any good podcasting co-host, I just keep talking and then I forget about it. And then you remind me a couple more times and a couple more times. And eventually, Jared, you're just going to be with the olive oils.
Oh, it's like I'm up to here,
Yeah, irritated, angry, in a bad mood.
There's another untranslatable. My last
straw.
Yes, thank you.
Last straw.
Are you getting on my last nerve? But yeah, I was thinking last straw.
Got it up to here with you. I like the German one. The Germans will say they have their nose is full. Ich hab die Nase voll. That's a good one.
Full of what?
I think it's just
anger, rage.
I got enough of it, basically. I think
I have one more Georgian one, and it's Enis Mitana. To bring a tongue to someone.
To bring a tongue to someone. Is it to give someone a gift they don't like?
No, it has to do with saying something.
Oh, is it to like talk back to someone or like make like a rude remark?
No. You're on the right track. It's a negative, something negative.
Is it to gossip about someone?
You're getting warmer, but still
stab someone in the back.
I'm gonna say you're getting warmer.
Just lie about something.
What's a common problem in Italian mob movies?
I mean, they don't pay up, so they gotta.
It's the snitch. The snitch.
Is it to snitch on somebody?
Yeah, to bring a tongue to someone.
Oh, you know what they say, Jared? Snitches get stitches. Snitches get stitches. Let me give you one last untranslatable. Jared, and then we can get into our main topic today. This one is Lo Tang Li, I think. Lo Tang Li, I think. I could be saying that one wrong. And it means, it literally means fall hot water bird, but more accurately translated, it means a chicken falls in soup.
It's like bad luck.
You're close. You're close.
You fall onto bad times. You're in a sticky situation.
If you fall into bad times, what did you probably do? Like just generally, what
something
did you do?
wrong.
Okay, what's another way to say I did something wrong?
I effed up.
What's a nicer way to say that if you're around children? This is a family podcast, Jared.
I made a boo boo. No, I messed up to mess up.
Yeah,
to make a mistake.
To make a mistake. There we go. To make a mistake.
Okay.
Yeah, to mess up, to make a mistake. Yeah, this just means it is a person who made a mistake.
Can I tell you a time about when my grandmother was trying to be very helpful, but she made a mistake?
Yes, please do. Please do.
So I was sick. I had a very sore throat. When I was a kid, I was no stranger to a strep throat here or there, you know. But I didn't know what it was. I just knew that I had trouble. My tonsils were swollen, you know, or not tonsils, but what is it? The lymph nodes were swollen. You know, I had sort of trouble breathing. It was just very uncomfortable, sore throat, you know. Felt like I was, you know, generally just sick feelings. And I was in Louisiana with my grandma over some summer when I was probably like 16. Oh yeah, I was doing an internship with a judge in Baton Rouge, and it was I had just started.
Uh-oh, talk about terrible timing.
And so I felt sick for a couple of days. I got to the point where it was so bad I couldn't sleep, you know. And I was just in bed, just sort of in pain, and I went to my grandma and I was like, I have a terribly sore throat. So she did the classic, by the way. This is going to go, I think arguably one of the most versatile and one of the most, not overrated, but one of the most like, medical based things in the world. She said she made me some tea with lemon and honey.
No
and
ginger?
Said, maybe some ginger too. Maybe
gotta have some ginger in there if you want it to be healthy, Jared.
And she said, "Here, drink this. It'll make you feel better." And I said, "Okay." And I drank it painfully because my throat I had a sore throat. It was very painful. Didn't make me feel better. Did taste good, but did not make me feel better. And then, so she was like, all right, we got to step this up.
We got to get out the big guns.
She then warmed up some more water, and she put some salt in there, and she told me to gargle some warm salt water.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, Grandma. And I think, you know, the problem was it was like 1 or 2 in the morning. I think she did not want to drive me to the hospital at 1 or 2 in the morning, which I don't blame her. But I was like, I think I'm very sick, and I think I need to go to a doctor immediately. She's like, no. Gargle this hot water or warm water. And it works in the immediate. So as the warm salt water is being gargled, it's like, oh, this feels nice. And then you spit it out. It's like, okay, I'm in pain again. And then she said, well, all right, well, here, I got something for you. How about you take a warm, wet towel and just sort of rest it on your neck.
Throat. Okay.
And that'll sort of help with the...
Loosen it up.
Loosen what up?
I don't know. I'm still trying to think about why. I mean, I guess I kind of get it, but...
So then that didn't work, and eventually, after all of that, I got her to take me to the hospital, and it turns out I had mono, so... That's
mono's pretty rough.
Yeah, I was in the hospital for like 3 days.
I believe it. Mono can be pretty rough.
Yeah, it was not fun.
You know what that story reminds me of though, Jared? There was kind of a running joke with a lot of my we would call it foreign friends, even though they were all Americans, and it was when I was in China. The running joke was always if you ever don't feel good in China, or like if you break your arm, if you do anything, you know what the best remedy is, Jared?
What's that?
You got to drink some hot water.
Hot
Break your
water?
arm, drink some hot water. Have a headache, hot water.
Did you ever watch Everybody Hates Chris?
Not really, no.
There was a whole joke about Robitussin was the go-to, where it's like it was the same thing. Break your arm, put some tussin on it. Put some tussin on it. It was Robitussin. But yeah,
Well, that's like in the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding. The dad or the grandpa or whatever is like with Windex.
oh yeah. But they don't use it. They don't use it for illnesses, do they?
Yeah, I mean he was.
Oh,
like,
they do.
Yeah, like there's a part in the movie where he's like soaking his elbow in some Windex, like it's blue liquid. By the way,
I've only seen that movie like once. I don't remember that.
Well, I've only seen it once or twice, but that scene
It
just stuck with me because I was just like, "What is this guy doing?" And at first, it didn't register. What the hell is this blue liquid that he's soaking his arm in? And it's supposed to be Windex because he mentions that joke a couple times throughout the movie. You know, put some Windex on it. It's like the phrase he says. But yeah, the hot water thing in China is actually what made me think about today's topic, because I think across different cultures, and even like not only cultures but across time as well, you know, the way our grandparents or our great grandparents would treat certain things or what they believed would help versus, you know, what we use now and what we know now works and doesn't work. It's really fascinating. You know, and I think the idea of healthcare is not one-to-one everywhere you go.
Sure, hospitals aren't always super accessible.
Exactly.
You got to figure it out yourself. Unless you're about to die, we got to figure this out.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. But yeah, it's just so crazy though to think about. And I think the biggest aspect when it comes to different health remedies in different cultures, and even different cultures and also different time periods, is that a lot of it is really based on, I think, especially further back in history, just the resources and things you had around you. So I think if you look back, like one of my most favorite things, I'm very surprised and a little disappointed you haven't commented on my background today, Jared, because this is a background of a Chinese pharmacy. And that was such a cool experience going in there for the first time, because I've been to a couple different Chinese pharmacies and a couple traditional Chinese medicine shops, and just seeing all the different herbs and stuff. It's really amazing. It makes you wonder, you know, what kind of stuff are they taking here that we could be missing out on that might have some great health benefits, you know,
I imagine that there's not a huge usage of like they're not doling out pills like we do here in the United States. Actually, I know for a fact they're not.
Yeah, definitely not.
No country in the world does.
doles out pills like we do. Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's the other weird thing about just healthcare culture in the U.S. It's so funny because you see hundreds of pharmaceutical commercials, and I'm pretty sure we are the only country in the world that actually advertises. Yeah, where you advertise, you know, are you having knee pain? Talk to your doctor about knee laxin, or you know, whatever the new knee medication's called. Exactly. Thank you.
Symptoms may involve diarrhea, sore throats, vomiting,
and sudden death,
internal bleeding,
right,
heart attack, stroke.
But I think some of that also, though, Jared, also has some really big cultural footing. What I mean by that is, in the U.S., I think we like the idea of having this quick fix. Oh, just give me a pill, and then, just give me a pill, and then problem solved, right? Whereas generally, I think with most health-related things, it's sadly not that simple. You know, a lot of it is because of our sedentary lifestyle, more so in the U.S., where we sit more, we drive places instead of walking and biking, which, I mean, sometimes it's just not possible, you know? But I think that's a really interesting aspect and also the things we sell at pharmacies. I'll never forget how the exchange students at my high school would react if they would ever come visit me while I was working at the pharmacy back then, because it was in walking distance from school. And so they would walk in the pharmacy and they'd see like the liquor or the whole, you know, liquor cabinet behind me. And their eyes would light up.
Frozen
and they were
pizzas.
Like, right. And their eyes would light up and they'd say, how are you selling this plus frozen pizzas plus all this candy and sugar and crap? I know the pharmacy we used to work at.
That.
Right? And the pharmacy
to
we
be
used
fair,
to work at.
That's not everywhere in the United States.
Right, but a lot of pharmacies they're not only pharmacies, it's more like a quote unquote drugstore, right? Where it's got your over the counter meds, it's also got your prescriptions generally in the back.
But what I'm saying is there's only a number of states that sell booze and like in
pharmacies,
any sort of store like that.
Right.
And we're one of the lucky.
And we are one of them. Yeah. In Michigan. Yeah. So, you can pick up your heart meds and a nice little handle of some vodka to enjoy your
like when
weekend
I
or
was in
something.
Pennsylvania, I felt like I was living in like the 1300s
Puritan
or
towns?
something. Yeah, because it was like the beer store and then the wine and liquor store and then obviously the grocery store and everything else. It's like I gotta go to different stores.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I thought I lived in a free country.
Right. And it's what I also find really fascinating is I just remember it was either when we studied abroad in Austria or maybe when I went to Germany a couple of summers back, but I took, I don't remember if it was ibuprofen or what it was, but something that's pretty basic and over the counter in the US to my cousin in Germany who apparently they need like a prescription for it because all they'll really give you is like aspirin, I guess, or something. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I just found it interesting that, there are certain things that you can get over the counter in some countries where, they might not be readily available or you might need a special prescription for them. But yeah, I would agree with you though, Jared. As you mentioned, we definitely overprescribe, I would say, in the U.S.
I have my own little home remedies. Like I have certain teas that I feel like do something.
Nice.
And honestly, only because it's called Vital Roots.
There you go. Give their marketing team an A+, Jared.
And it's not just another reason. It's funny that you say that. Another reason another reason why I like it here. Is because it's not a it's not just some sort of large brand. Right. It's a at least I don't think it is.
I'm gonna laugh if you Google it. It's like the number one tea brand in the U.S.
No, yeah, Bigelow. No, I'm kidding. No, I can't even find it. Oh yeah, okay. See, yeah, no, it's not it's not like it's just some small wellness person, that put together their mix. I heard about it.
That's how you know it's legit, Jared. Right.
And I was like, this stuff is it kind of does feel like I'm doing something, Also, another big one is the ginger for sure. A ginger is a key. I certainly feel like I'm doing something when I have ginger in my life.
Yeah, I would agree with that one. Ginger's a great one.
Lemon.
You forgot the quintessential Michigan.
Oh, Verner's.
Staple. Yeah, Verner's ginger ale, my man. Verner's.
I mean, that's not even just a Michigan thing. That is for sure a common go-to ailment.
Right. If your stomach's upset,
I mean,
have some
specifically
ginger ale.
in Michigan, it's the Verner's.
Right.
But in general, the ginger ale is key.
We need to hit up Verner's because we've given them a couple plugs. We need to get that Verner's sponsorship. I'd wear a Verner's T-shirt on the pod if that's what it takes.
That would be that would be great. I would love to have just a steady stream of Verner's coming into my home.
I know, right?
Just once
Verner's,
a week, a truck just drops off
beep,
a.
beep. You hear the beeping and you run outside. My Verner's is back. My Verner's is back.
Run to the window like a child.
Right. Exactly. But yeah, I do think there are a lot of, I think, universal, or maybe not. Maybe universal is the wrong word. Widespread, homeopathic ways to help certain ailments. And I think ginger is one of those. Tea, I think cross-culturally, in a lot of cultures, they say if you're not feeling well, have some tea. Mm-hmm. I do think there is something, especially if you have a cold or you're not feeling good, that warm liquid does help. I don't know what it does.
I think so. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's all BS,
Right.
I think there are legitimate benefits to these things. Can we just go through some? I just like a list of some common sort of households. See if these have ever been introduced in your lifestyle. And obviously, I mentioned the salt water for sore throat. That is something that has been used on me a lot. Sometimes it works. Obviously, if you have mono, it probably won't work.
Right.
Ginger for nausea. Apparently, I didn't know ginger was for nausea.
Yep.
I okay, that's good to know. I always thought it was like a good. I did actually use it because I thought it was a good. And I believe it is. Let me actually, now that I read this, good for like a post meal, like as like a
digestive.
There we go. Ginger has been used for hundreds of years for its medicinal properties, including helping to calm tummy troubles.
Yep.
Research, including a study published in 2015 in Current Opinion, is supportive and palliative. Blah blah blah. So is an effective digestive aid, most notably by helping to alleviate nausea due to morning sickness during pregnancy. That took a weird turn. I did not expect that. Cool tea for eye bags. Have you heard about that? If you have like bags under your eyes, you can get old tea bags and put them on.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I've obviously never done that. I don't care enough about how I look. Prunes for constipation. That's a classic, bro.
Yep.
I can't tell you how many times my older family members in the South have pushed prunes on me.
You wanna ramp it up a notch, add some black coffee to that combo, and away you go.
What if that black coffee is that? I mean, that does do the job too. But yeah,
well,
like
you know what they call that in nursing homes, Jared? When you give when the patient's constipating, you give them prunes or prune juice, and then some coffee. Call that the brown bomber.
The brown bomber. All right, give Laurel the brown bomber. An oatmeal bath for skin ailments. Have you
I've
heard of that one
before?
Yeah,
I've heard that one before.
For sure.
I feel like mud is another one. Like mud. It's interesting the different cultural types of like health and wellness and like skincare routines, because a lot of places use all sorts of different stuff. Seaweed.
Yeah.
I believe it was Germany, maybe, I saw that they were using it was Japan. They were using snails on people's faces. Apparently the slime the snails secrete is somehow good for your face.
Oh, I can't remember what it's called. But before the pandemic, I would go to is it Russian? No, I can't even remember what the place is called now. No, I think it's Jewish, actually. Oh yeah, Schwitz. It is Jewish. I would go to a bathhouse.
The sauna, right? Or bathhouse. Mm-hmm.
And they'd have saunas and stuff. And one of the things that they would do, I can't remember what it was called or what the leaf was, but they would take like these large leaves that they would have,
smack
like,
you with them, right?
Yeah, they smack you on the back.
That is
them.
a Russian thing though, too, I think.
Well, it's like a, I don't know who originated it, but it's a popular like sauna thing you do in saunas in general.
Makes sense.
And the Russians are like the Jewish community are also popular for their bathhouses. Mm-hmm. I can't remember what it is, but that's another one, and I always wondered what that was. People say it's very refreshing.
I guess I don't know. We should try it out, and we can take out our aggression on each other.
Another one is cranberry juice. That's a classic, bro.
Yep.
I love cranberry juice. They say it's good for UTIs.
Yep.
They also, when I used to drink a lot of cranberry juice in college, where people always make jokes and ask me if I had a UTI. They also, it's also a commonly used for like people that are trying to like pass a drug test. You know, it's like the cranberry juice is. Oh, I think it's because it's a diuretic. I think that's why.
Yep.
And so I think similar to like a tea or like a something like that. I think it's the, I don't even really know what that's the funny thing about these home remedies. I don't even really know what a diuretic is. What is it? It just
makes you pee, doesn't it?
I think that is what it is.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
And so cranberry juice, like teas,
it's good for your, I think, kidneys
coffee.
and bladder, isn't it?
Cranberry juice.
Yeah,
yes,
I
it
thought
is.
so. Mm-hmm.
Cranberry juice is unlikely. Let's see. Has been shown to reduce. Has been shown to. Sorry, I just dropped in the middle of a paragraph. Cranberry juice has been shown to reduce how well the bacteria stick to the lining cells of the bladder. This is for like UTI stuff, or I don't know. Yeah, because in women with recurrent infections, however. Have been even so. Cranberry is unlikely to cause harm, might reduce bladder infections, and could be used in conjunction with other strategies your healthcare provides. Yeah, so yeah, you're right. Honey for coughs.
Yep.
Honey is also great for allergies, local honey specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And if you go to a fancy wellness store, there's a couple around here in Ferndale, honey gets expensive real fast.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You can get like a jar of honey, like no one can see
Teeny
me,
tiny jar,
but
right.
like I'm showing a small jar with my hands for like $40, and it's
Right.
like Jesus, honey. So honey's good for coughs. It's good for and it's good for definitely good for allergies too. Local honey.
Right.
Another one is aloe. This aloe over here, you can see it. There's these suckies are aloes, and I've gotten burns. And if you just snip off an end of it and you squeeze out it's like goo in the middle, and you rub it on there, that shit works better than anything I've
Really?
used for a burn in my life.
Okay.
Yes. It is legitimately effective, and you just spread the goo on and just let it sit there for a bit, and it immediately takes away the sort of that pain that pain you get from a burn.
Also
And
works really good with sunburns.
Same concept.
Yep,
Exactly.
yep.
Well,
Yeah.
there you go. It's shocking that you're so surprised, and then right after you say it works good for burns. Oh yeah, this is a classic one. The chicken soup for
yep, for
colds.
the cold.
But I think
Yep.
that just goes along with your idea of the hot beverages.
Yep.
That's all I have really. There are a bunch of other ones. Apparently, apples are good for cleaning teeth. I didn't know that. Did you know
Oh
that?
yeah. Yep. Yeah. Well, with apples, you can. It's actually not only teeth. Apples are actually good for your gums. That's
Oh,
really, I
interesting.
think, what. Yeah.
I mean,
'cause
you do have to have strong teeth to eat apples. Like apples
Right.
are not for the weak teeth.
Also, really good if I doubt that our listeners are this age demographic, but if you have a loose tooth and you're having some difficulties, you could try to eat an apple, but you have to be careful you don't swallow the tooth.
What I do is I tie the tooth to a string and then tie that string
And
to
slam the door.
to a V8 powered machine.
There we go. To my Crown Vic. And we just zoom off into the sunset. But yeah, I have
do
a
you take any-
couple. Go ahead.
Go ahead, please. I was gonna say, let's say one quick question. Do you take any sort of like a pills?
Do I take any? Well, I take a multivitamin.
Okay,
and
yeah, that's what I
occasionally,
mean.
occasionally during like allergy season, if my allergies are bad, and I'm gonna knock on wood, that's our superstition here in America as well.
Yeah,
for
but
good
that's
luck.
that's like a big pharma pill. I didn't mean that kind of pill. I meant like a multivitamin kind of
yeah.
thing.
I take a multivitamin, and that's really it, man. I don't take any other medications. I'm very lucky.
I used to take multivitamins, but really only because I got them for free. I don't, but now I take a vitamin D every day. Is
There you
the
go.
new one that I do. But that's what they say. They say vitamin D is crucial during these COVID times, and just in general is good for you.
Actually,
apparently.
Jared, I've seen some articles lately that have been saying that vitamin D might. They did a study. I don't remember if it was in Australia or New Zealand, but they did a study somewhere that basically said like the vitamin D didn't make that big of a difference, but. I could be wrong about that. Don't take, I'm not a doctor.
Okay. Well, I'm actually okay with that because it's still I think it's still a
for
good
you.
vitamin to take.
It is.
But
It is.
Okay. I thought you were
It
going to
is.
say like it had like negative effects on.
No.
Like it
Vitamin
was
D is
worse.
actually one of the better ones to take for sure.
So yeah, it's good to take in general. In spite of,
Right.
I don't take it specifically to like in case I get COVID.
Right.
But
Well,
I
not-
don't even know why. Like I don't know why I took the multivitamin that I took. I don't know why I take vitamin D. I just do. I've taken fish oil pills before for a moment, for a bit in time, and just kind of stopped.
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of supplements and other stuff like that out there, and it can be tricky to
Didn't you
decide
used to
what you
take-
need and what you don't need. Yeah.
Didn't you used to take something
Steroids?
for your
No.
for your nails when you were
Yeah.
when you did guitar more seriously?
Biotin.
Biotin, yeah,
Yep.
and you would
Good
have
for hair
super,
and nails.
super, yeah, the hair and nails one. That's what it is.
Well,
yeah.
it clearly. I guess that biotin, Jared. I must have been somehow taking too much of it or something because my nails are still
rock solid.
still really good.
You
I mean,
got
they
some,
rarely. Yeah, I mean
you
it's
got some,
nice. I can
what's his
play
name? Wolverine-esque.
That's
nails.
right. That's right. Adamantium nails, Jared. I think that's what the the stuff is that Wolverine is made out of. But yeah, speaking of
Biotin.
crazy medical procedures, though, Jared, since we're talking about Wolverine, I want to talk about some old-fashioned things that people have done throughout history, and some of these we still do to this day. And some of these might surprise you as well, Jared. So here's kind of an interesting one. So back in the day,
Cocaine.
in ancient Egypt, well, yes, they did used to use cocaine and
they
heroin
still
and all
do.
sorts of stuff. I mean, I remember seeing a picture of this old-timey medicine bottle from the 1800s, and you saw the list of ingredients, and it was like heroin, cocaine. Like, it was like all these
It's
crazy
like, oh yeah, that's my
ingredients.
kind of medicine.
Right. And that was like your go-to-sleep medication for the night or something. Well, I guess if it has some of that, it might keep you up. But anyways, here's an interesting one, Jared. This comes from ancient Egypt. And I don't know if you know this, but the interesting thing about ancient Egypt is historians have kind of figured out that they actually had a pretty well organized and fairly advanced medical system for the time. And actually, I don't know if you know this, but in Egypt, they actually had a specific doctor for specific body parts, which I think is really great. Like if you think about it, you have an eye specialist, a nose specialist, an ear specialist, because
that was revolutionary at the time.
I would say so. Yeah.
I mean, I was asking.
I think so. I think so. I don't know.
Obviously, it's not now, but I could imagine back then it could certainly be revolutionary.
Exactly. Well, and I mean, if you just think about how complicated and fascinating the human body is, to try to be an expert on the whole human body, I don't know if it's possible.
Right.
Right.
There's no way you
so
could,
much
you could
to
keep,
know. Right.
There's no way you could like keep up to date on every part of the body.
Exactly.
It's too much information.
But anyways, with these Egyptian doctors, they had a lot of specialized healing ailments, right? And so a lot of the cures were kind of fascinating, Jared. So just to give you, and if anyone listening right now, if you're about to eat or you're eating, you might want to flash forward or do something, because this is a little gross. So what they used to use back in the day in Egypt, Jared, is they would use lizard blood, dead mice, mud, and moldy bread as topical ointments and dressings. And women were, and this is an interesting one, and this is according to history.com, women were sometimes dosed with horse saliva as a cure for an impaired libido. I don't know
How
why.
did they figure that out?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure what their justification was. But if you want something even grosser, though, Jared, most disgusting of all.
I wonder how much you'd have to drink. Is it like a shot? Like when you do the liquid medications and you get the little cap? Or is it like a chug down the...
If it's saliva, it might be a topical ointment, maybe. Maybe? I don't know. I'm not sure. But listen to this, Jared.
Where would
most
you put
disgusting...
it? Because you said it's for libido.
We're not going to get into that, Jared. I think you can figure out where you're going to put it. Most disgusting of all, though, Jared, Egyptian physicians used human and animal excrement as a cure-all remedy for diseases and injuries. So who needs Windex, Jared? Let's just use some poop. According to 1500 BC Eber's papyrus, donkey, dog, gazelle, and fly dung were all celebrated for their healing properties and their ability to, here you go, Jared, to ward off bad spirits. While these repugnant remedies may have occasionally led to tetanus and other infections, they probably weren't entirely ineffective. Research shows the microflora found in some types of animal dung do contain antibiotic substances. So that's kind of fascinating, isn't it?
Okay. Okay. That seems risky, but okay.
Right.
I have one. Can I give you one?
Of course.
When I was working at a previous job, my boss had Italian roots, and I was super sick. These were the days when sickness didn't stop you from going to work. They, especially at that job, they were like, "Are you dead? Okay, well then you should probably be here."
Right.
But my boss brought in what he claimed, his family was Italian, he has Italian roots. What he claimed was some sort of Italian concoction that he takes a shot of every morning, but especially when he has some sort of sickness, and it'll knock it out. And I can't even tell you exactly what was in this thing, but I'll tell you it had like a whole certain seasonings.
Did you take it? Did
pickle
you try
juice. I took a I don't think I took enough. I mean, who knows how much is enough? I didn't take as much as he would take. Dude, it tasted repulsive. It was
I'm
very
sure it
strong. It had like a strong vinegary taste. But
Maybe
but
there
it
was
had,
some apple cider vinegar in
there
there.
was definitely some sort of vinegar in there.
Okay.
There was definitely, I believe, some sort of
Which
pickled
vinegar
juice or
is
something.
used as a cleaning agent as well, though, Jared. So
I mean, I understand why vinegar would be in there. There was
Right.
also like various seasonings. Like there was probably like, and there was like probably ginger in there as well. Probably some lemon juice. It was like a giant, and it came in like a large refillable like nondescript bottle.
oh, that's always good. That's always
And he's
reassuring.
essentially just like, take as much of this as you can. And I don't know if it did anything to me.
You should have taken it as the chug challenge and just chugged it all. Then
I'm
you would have
weak.
felt amazing.
I'm so
Jared.
weak. I can't throw. I'd be throwing up at work at a
Hey, maybe
on
that
a
would have made you
conference
feel
table.
better. Maybe that would have made you feel better. Maybe that's why it works,
Dude,
Jared.
That would have been hilarious. I had a conference table at work. Oh
And
wow!
afterwards, I feel great. Right?
Thanks.
Yeah.
That
you
would
never
be
know.
hilarious. He's
Right.
like, I told you. You're welcome.
See? Yeah, exactly. Exactly. One of my absolute favorite health remedies that I heard while I was living in Chomutov. Shout out to my Chomutovies, my Chomutov homies. Shout out. They a big one that I heard throughout the Czech Republic was have some Slivovica, which is a plum brandy. So basically, you feel a cold coming on, just have a shot of Slivovica before
That's
bed.
a classic. That's actually, I'm surprised we haven't gotten to that. Like, booze is a classic cure for
a
stuff.
huge
Like,
one for
babies
numerous
with
cultures.
or not even just
teething.
babies, but if you have mouth or like gum pains or tooth pains, rub some booze on it.
Right.
Is a popular one.
You
Also,
have
just
some
like
psychological issues or some life trauma. A little booze will help with that.
or if you're hungover, the best cure for a hangover is more booze.
You know what's crazy, Jared? I don't know if you remember this, but when we were in Austria, they were having some issues, I guess, with like counterfeit. I think it was vodka, and what was happening was people were using the wrong type of alcohol. There's ethyl and ethanol, right? I think they're those
Something
are
like that.
Something like that. They were using the wrong one, and it turns out our teacher explained to us the only way you can actually help someone who's drank the incorrect type of alcohol is to actually
pee
put
in their mouth.
Yes, and then after you do that,
That neutralizes
you
the.
you give them a really strong like drinking alcohol, really strong. And and that's how they cure it. Yeah, I'm dead serious.
Okay.
If they cure it in time, because if you drink the wrong type of alcohol, it can cause blindness. It can kill you. It's
Sure.
really dangerous.
Sure.
So be careful if someone's offering you moonshine and
Also-
you're not sure.
Booze is a classic in movies, especially a classic. What do you call it when disinfectant? So like
Yep.
if you get shot, if you get stabbed, you just pour some vodka over it or some whiskey over it, and then you go, and then you wrap it up.
Right. Exactly. Here's an interesting older remedy for health, Jared. Mercury. So nowadays we know of mercury for its toxic properties, but believe it or not, it used to be used as a common elixir and used as topical medicine. The ancient
That
Persians...
seems like a bad idea.
Yep, the ancient Persians and Greeks considered it a useful ointment, and 2nd century Chinese alchemists prized liquid mercury or quicksilver and red mercury sulfide for their supposed ability to, here's the irony, to increase lifespan and vitality. Some healers even promised that by consuming noxious brews containing poisonous mercury, sulfur, and arsenic, their patients would gain eternal life. Well, they do, but they die. That's the eternal life they gain, I guess, if you believe in the afterlife. And the ability to walk on water. One of the most famous casualties of this diet was the Chinese emperor Qin Shi Huang, who supposedly died after ingesting mercury pills designed to make him immortal.
Did you also know mercury was the remedy chosen for syphilis in Protestant Europe? Oh,
Yep.
you did? All right. I didn't know that.
Well, I only know that because I have that pulled up here as one of the other things they used for mercury. But yeah, there is an interesting one.
I don't want mercury on my skin at all, but I certainly don't want it down there. Oh,
I wouldn't. Yeah, no, thank you for sure.
No.
Yeah. Here are a couple other. Here are some old-fashioned remedies, though, Jared, that are actually still used today. This one really surprised me, Jared. It didn't surprise me in terms of old-timey, because we've definitely heard of this before, but leeches. So believe it or not, leeches have been used for over 3,000 years, since the days of the early Egyptians, to treat many nervous system abnormalities. Leech therapy is used now because leeches aren't expensive and they're simple to use. They're used in plastic surgery and after microsurgery. Combined with an antibiotic, the leeches secrete anticoagulant molecules, basically to prevent against blood clots that enhance circulation and promote wound healing. So there you go. That's something new for me, Jared. I was not aware of that they still use leeches. I used to always think of this as this old-timey type of thing, but yeah. Another one.
Is there anything wrong with it besides for the fact that it's antiquated? Like, we have technologies now that can do it without live and things, is there a danger?
It sounds like, I don't know if we do have if we're still using leeches, Jared. I don't think.
But we're not
using
using leeches. Like, if you were to go to the hospital, they wouldn't.
Right.
Let's say bring out the leeches.
Depends why you're there. I don't know. You might have to go into
so
the hospital and ask.
You're telling me the local
treatment.
Hospital down the street probably has leeches ready to go.
Probably not.
If anyone needs it.
I doubt it. I don't know
we can just do that with a pill.
Right. Yeah, I have no idea how often it's still used. No idea. All right, this next one doesn't really surprise me. Penicillin, discovered in 1928. This drug revolutionized the treatment of infection and also sparked a 100-year history of developing new and useful antibiotics. Originally discovered from Penicillium mold that naturally produces penicillin, the drug grew in popularity at the end of World War II since sulfa was in short supply and sometimes harmful, which leads me to sulfa, Jared, number 3, which was introduced in 1935 by Gerhard Domagt. Sulfa or sulfonamides were the first compounds shown to effectively treat infections. A chemical was added to sulfa as a part of the production process in the late 1930s, killing dozens of children and adults across the United States and across the world. This prompted the federal government to amend the law in 1938 to require that all drugs be proven safe before marketing. So there you go. This one, Jared, this is, do you know what they refer to as the wonder drug?
No.
Aspirin. Marketed since 1899 for pain relief, this medicine has often been referred to as a wonder drug for its abilities to be used in a variety of situations. Aspirin has an effect on inflammation and also the aggregation or stickiness of blood platelets. This makes it a great agent for thinning blood in various situations where blood clotting is a problem, such as heart attacks or blood clots in the legs. However, using this medicine in children was shown to be a problem and cause a variety of adverse effects, which is why we see Tylenol commonly used for children for some of the same uses as aspirin. So there you go. So there's just a couple of them. I did not realize that some of these, I guess obviously leeches is pretty clear that it's old, but, aspirin, I had no idea that, this was something that was going around during the turn of the century, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pretty crazy stuff. Are there any kind of medical, did you ever have any encounters when you were abroad, Jared, or on your travels to go abroad, where you were kind of struck by either, what you might have to do or the medicine that some people take in certain countries?
No. I mean, I was certainly nervous about getting sick when I was in Tanzania. The water was a concern. There was one time, I think I don't know if it was a close call or if it even really mattered, but there was one time without thinking that, I used the sink to clean my toothbrush and brush my teeth. I don't think that's enough water to really do anything. But I was certainly concerned about that. I did go to the hospital when we studied abroad in Austria. I had an inner ear infection. But it was normal. It was like going to, it was weird because it was like 1 a.m. I don't know why. I need to get sick during the day. I just realized the 2 hospital situations I talked about, I literally went at sometime in the middle of the night or whatever.
Right.
But yeah, it was normal. It wasn't anything. It was actually, no, it was normal. Yeah.
All right. Well, let me give you a couple. Let's play doctor and patient here, Jared. I'm going to be your doctor, And I'm going to describe the symptoms. You come into my office, and I'm going to offer you a treatment, Jared. And I want you to tell me if you would be willing to try this treatment or not. Are you ready?
Okay.
All right, Jared, you come into my office with a cough and cold. You know, you're not feeling very good. You feel a little bit congested. And you know, so you come into my office, and by the way, I am working in my traditional Chinese pharmacy, as you can see on my background if you're watching us on YouTube, Untranslatable Podcast on YouTube.
So I
you
can't
come
ask
in,
for Percocet?
You cannot. Not in my pharmacy, Jared. Not in my pharmacy. And
What
so
about
you
Vicodin?
come in. Nope. You come in.
Fentanyl?
Also, no. You come in. I'm giving you traditional Chinese medicine here, Jared.
I don't even know. I don't even know.
Well, here, let me give you the treatment.
I'm just kidding.
So you come in, and you have a cold. You have some tightness of the chest, maybe a runny nose, some sniffles. You know what, Jared? I have just the thing to solve your problem, Jared. How about I give you some geckos? I'm going to give you these geckos, Jared, give you a simple pinch of some dried gecko, some dried lizard, to help by nourishing your kidneys and strengthen your lungs. And by doing that, your cough will be gone in no time, and you will be feeling much better. What do you think, Jared? Are you going to have some tasty dried gecko to help you overcome your cold? What do you think?
The remedy is to eat a dried gecko or pieces of is it in powder? Is it powder form?
Now that's the only negative thing is they don't tell me how they administer the traditional Chinese medicine, just what is used. So I'll let you use your imagination, Jared. You know what? You can do what you want with your dried gecko.
I wouldn't just. Oh yeah, you can. Oh yeah, sorry. I just want to see what it looks like. Like how does it? I just want to see what the form that it comes in. I don't have a problem with it. God damn it.
Now you saw the picture and you're second guessing yourself, aren't you?
I just shouldn't have gone to Google Images. That's not what I'm.
That was a bad idea. You shouldn't have. You definitely shouldn't have. I agree with that. Well, Jared, you too late. You already said you tried. So.
I wouldn't crunch down on a full gecko that's just been dried out. But in powder form or something, maybe you can mix it up with some tea or something.
Okay.
I'd be down to do that.
And just so you know, Jared,
why geckos though?
I don't know.
I need more information.
I don't know.
With you.
But you know what? Just in case, Jared, if you're having any bedroom problems, the gecko will also help you with that, according to what I'm reading right here.
Oh, it's good for vitality.
Yep. I guess, or
okay.
give you a little extra oomph. I'll let your imagination do the rest there. All right, Jared.
Hold on.
There you go.
I saw a live gecko. It's almost worse.
Right.
They look nothing. Well, they do kind of look like the Geico one, except they're not green.
Right.
Ugh, in the eyes. Ugh.
Right. All right, Jared.
Jesus.
So I'm glad we solved your cold. But
Thanks.
a week later, you come back to my office, and you come in and you say, Dr. Chad, I'm really not feeling very good. I think it's something with my kidney and my liver. And I look through my drawers in my traditional Chinese medicine pharmacy here, and I
think it's something with my kidney and my liver.
That's right. You walk in, and I say, well,
I would never say that, by the way.
well, you do in this scenario here, Jared. So just roll with it.
My kidney hurts,
and I decide, you know what, Jared, I'm gonna give you some cordyceps as known in that'd be like sounds like a cool rap song right there. Cordyceps. Molly cordyceps. Anyways, cordyceps in the scientific community, also known as wormgrass, is a fungus that starts its life as a little spore infecting the backs of moth caterpillars that live high up in the mountains of some parts in China. Once the unsuspecting caterpillars die, the fearsome fungus grows out of the host's bodies in the form of stringy alien-like fingers. Thankfully, the infectious properties of the fungus don't affect humans. Cordyceps is known to help with kidney and liver problems, and some athletes use it to boost performance. New research is even showing activity against cancer cells that could reduce the size of tumors, particularly in lung and skin cancers. What do you think, patient Jared?
No.
Are you going to take my wormgrass prescription?
No.
No? All right. Well, you know what, Jared?
I want drugs. I want real drugs. I'm an American.
Well, Jared...
Give me pills.
You've come to the wrong pharmacy. Well, Jared, it's 20 years down the road, and you come in and you say, Dr. Chad, I forgot why I'm in here. And I ask you, Jared, I said, well, do you have some symptoms? Is everything all right? You say, Dr. Chad, I forgot who I am. And I say, is this an existential crisis? What's going on? And then I look at your
Xanax.
I look at your medication bracelet, you know, that little fancy thing there, and I see, oh, you are a patient of Alzheimer's. Well, Jared, let me help you with your Alzheimer's and give you some sea stars or some starfish. And so apparently these sea stars are known for potent anti-inflammatory properties with inflammation linked to many ailments such as arthritis, diabetes, heart disease, IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, allergies, asthma, and even cancer. It's easy to see how an ingredient with anti-inflammatory effects would be sought after. The effects are even being explored in Western medicine. There, the slimy goo of a particularly sea star is being investigated for its application for treating inflammation-related illnesses. What do you think, Jared? Will you take it?
Gross. Sure.
Pretty crazy, isn't it?
I'll eat a starfish.
Okay. Well, I think
I'm not
it's
afraid of
the goo. I think the starfish.
Come on.
Starfish goo. I think.
It's already gross enough, but it's like no, it's the goo.
Right. All right. I'll
Speaking
give you
of
the
words that aren't gross but sound gross. Goo.
No kidding. How
many of these? Are we to do this forever?
Yes. This episode is going to be a 5-hour long traditional Chinese medicine extravaganza. No, Jared. Here's my last one for you. Last one. You come in, and you say, you know what, doctor? I'm working out and I'm feeling a bit sluggish. Was talking to my lady and she hasn't been too impressed with my performance in the last couple of weeks. And,
dick pills. I'm gonna go to the gas station and get some dick pills.
That's right. Get those blue pills. And I say, you know what, Jared? Save your money. You don't need those blue pills. I have something really fancy for you that will help you with all your problems and also help your kidneys out as well. Let me give you some seahorses, Jared. What do you think? Are you going to take my seahorses?
I'm jumping over the counter and I'm strangling you.
So no seahorses, just a murder charge. I'll take it.
The pills.
Right, and that right there, Jared. Yeah. I wonder.
I gotta imagine that they can grind these down to
right.
Put it in
I'm sure it's dried or something. Right. I'm sure it is. But I wonder how they figured out a lot of these things, or where these theories come from. Like, who looked at a seahorse and was like, you know what? I haven't been able to rise to the occasion with my lady lately. I'm going to try to grind up some seahorses. Like, it's, to me, it just seems so
I don't
random.
know if it probably didn't work like that. Maybe someone ate a seahorse and they're like, wow, I'm feeling good.
Right.
What's this?
Right.
What is this?
Kids, go in the other room. Your mother and I have some business to attend to.
Yeah. Hey, leave the seahorse. That's for us.
Yep. Jimmy, don't be
you touch
the seahorse.
that seahorse.
That's still, you're 18 and older, Jimmy. 18 and older.
Yeah, you got to hide the seahorse.
Exactly. Put it on the special shelf way up high in the cabinet.
The seahorse.
That's. Did we just come up with a new?
Yeah.
I like that. Hide the seahorse. There you go, Jared. I think that needs to be a new drop right there.
I don't know when we would use that.
Hide the seahorse. Who knows? when you're doing something naughty, Jared, and you don't want people to know about it. That's when you do it. All right, I got one last thing though about health, Jared, because I think it's so important to mention this. And this was something that was new for me.
The way you use your one last thing.
That was my one last Chinese traditional medicine thing, Jared.
You're really stretching the limits on this whole one last. You do it all the time. One last thing. Well, one last thing.
Well,
you
Jared,
can't do this to people.
You know,
this is terrible. People hate that.
I bought the shirt, Jared, that says "Stretch the Limits," and I intend to do that, Jared. So that's what we're doing.
Please,
that's what we're doing.
Please, Chad.
Last health-related thing for today, Jared. Have you heard of Ayurveda?
No.
So Ayurveda is a natural system of medicine which originated in India more than 3,000 years ago. The term Ayurveda derived from the Sanskrit words Ayur, life, and Veda, science of knowledge. Thus, Ayurveda translates to knowledge of life. Based on the idea that disease is due to an imbalance or stress in a person's consciousness, Ayurveda encourages certain lifestyle interventions and natural therapies to regain a balance between the body, mind, spirit, and the environment.
What the hell does any of that mean?
Well, Jared, let me tell you. So Ayurveda treatment begins with an internal purification process. followed by a special diet, herbal
It sounds like
remedies,
BS.
massage therapy. To an American, I would say it sounds like BS, but I kind of buy into this actually.
It just all sounds like fluff words at this point.
But I don't think it is fluff words. I think the term we would use would be health and wellness. I think that's how the Western world would describe this. Like this to me is like spa plus a healthy diet, basically. Like spa, yoga, and a healthy diet.
Okay.
You know, self-care, Jared, as
Sure.
it's 2021, we need to definitely have some self-care.
Sure.
But I like this. So the idea, though, Jared, of Ayurveda is the concept of universal interconnectedness. The body's constitution, in Sanskrit, they call it, and I'm sure I'll butcher this, prakriti, and life forces, dosas, are the primary basis of Ayurvedic medicine. Goals of treatment aid the person of eliminating impurities, reducing symptoms, increasing resistance to disease, which I would say an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of... what's the saying, Jared? I'm trying to... That's the saying. Like an ounce of prevention is better than a pound of like reaction or something. Anyways... So basically, so eliminates impurities, reducing symptoms, increasing resistance to disease, reducing worry. That's something I think you and I could both have. Increasing harmony in life. Herbs and other plants, including oils and common spices, are used extensively in Ayurvedic treatment. I think, Jared, what you're thinking right now is, what is this hippy-dippy crap, and I don't believe in any of it. Am I right, or am I putting words in your mouth?
You're kind of putting words in my mouth. I'm just listening. I'm wondering why you're telling me this more than anything, to be honest with you.
Well, I'm telling you this because it's a different health cultural practice.
I'm just confused. I just don't get it. I guess you're right. Yeah, you're right. I just don't understand what's being solved here, you know?
Well, I think what's being solved with it is, I mean, to me, it seems like it's just taking a lot of aspects of Western medicine that we separate, right? So what I mean is, you know, like mental health. When we think of mental health, I don't know about you, but I don't group that really as the same thing as like taking care of your body. Even though mental health is also part of taking care of your body.
I hear you, but I think I would.
Okay.
I think I would, because I think, yeah.
Right. But see, I like the idea, though, of Ayurveda about, you know, about getting rid of impurities. I mean, just think of, and I myself, you know, I eat a lot of food that's not healthy. I'm sure there's plenty of chemicals and impurities in there and in turn in my body that probably shouldn't be there. I just like this idea of the interconnectedness of your mind, your body, your spirit, all of that stuff. And it seems, you know, that it's more natural. It's more about, you know, what you're eating. Are you meditating? Are you doing yoga? So it's also about, you know, being active. And so I don't know. But what's interesting, though, about Ayurvedic medicine, Jared, is it now is actually being, there's no like state licensing in the U.S., but the practice is actually growing more in the U.S., and it's now even being researched at some different universities and medical institutions. So it will be really interesting to see how some of this ancient Indian medicine, how we can use a lot of the knowledge of the past and use that to help us grow as, you know, grow in terms of like better technology, better medication, and hopefully healthier stuff, you know, so we don't have to watch commercials anymore that say, and the side effects include diarrhea, fever, headache, you know, and you have that long list of all the side effects. You know, I think whenever we can try to solve some health issues in a more natural way with less medications and chemicals, the better. But I'm sure that's where I just lost the majority of our American listeners, because that's just what we've been, I think, conditioned to do. You know, you go to the doctor, they prescribe a medication, you go to the pharmacy and you take your pill and you're good, you know?
Yeah. I mean, listen, I'm happy to eat my words on the idea of whatever you called it. I'm going to butcher the word. Ayurvedic sounding.
Ayurvedic, I think. Is
Ayurvedic sounding foolish. I'm happy to eat my words. I'm not married to my opinions.
And, you know, it's okay to reevaluate our opinions too.
Thank you.
But the tricky thing about Ayurvedic medicine, though, Jared, is unlike, you know, our, you know, standard medicine in the West, especially, we have specific, certifications, we have boards, we have all these different things, standards basically, right? Whereas at least what I've been reading, there is no like set standard for Ayurvedic medicine. So that does make it a bit more difficult to be quote unquote legitimate if there isn't like agreed upon standards, right? But I'll be curious to see in the future, if this gains more traction. And I think, as I said, anything we can do to help our fellow, brothers and sisters' health and everything else, I think that's great. I will also say, Jared, the last thing I will say about health is I do think a lot of us take our health for granted, myself included. I mean, I'm sure you remember probably the last time you had a cold, and I always have the thought like when I'm sick, and it's just like, oh, if I could just go back 2 days, rewind the clock 2 days to when I was healthy and quote unquote normal again. So don't take it for granted.
Yeah, I mean, I think this pandemic is a perfect example of how much we here in the U.S. take health for granted.
Definitely. Jared, but I'm really curious to hear if any of our listeners out there have some other health remedies they'd like to share with us. I would definitely love to hear some. But I would say, as we always say at the Untranslatable Podcast, the number one key, Jared, is...
I have no idea.
Stay hydrated. I thought you were going to get it. Stay hydrated, people. I would say that's the one medical advice I feel comfortable giving to people. Stay hydrated out there. Yeah. So I think we've covered it today, Jared. I mean, I'm sure there's more we could discuss related to healthcare and health remedies in different cultures and everything. But I think for today's purposes, I think we've covered it. So are you ready to get the music going for me real quick?
Sure. What music? What do you mean?
The outro music, my man.
Oh,
wait.
okay.
What am I doing? We'll save the song of the pod for the next episode.
Too late.
That's right. The music's already started, Jared. We can't go back now.
By the way, you don't have to tell me to get the music going. If you start doing the outro, I'll know to play the music. How dare you?
Well, I started to do the outro and I wasn't hearing the music. That's why I said something.
Yeah, well, to be fair, you did skip a whole thing that you made a point to send me a song, so...
Right. Yeah, that's
I would
my
have
own,
caught on pretty quick.
That's my own fault. Anyways, everybody, let us know what health remedies you have and or what your culture uses to help the headache, tummy ache, what have you. If it's some slivovica in the Czech Republic, if it's some hot water in China, some lemon and tea in Louisiana, let us know at untranslatablepodcast@gmail.com. You can slide into those DMs on Twitter, untranslatable1, the number 1. Also, check us out on Instagram, Untranslatable Podcast. Once I get that dash cam in the van, hopefully we can bring you some cool stuff as well, so check that out.
Yeah.
And lastly, please, 5-star reviews on iTunes and Stitcher. Let us know how we can make this podcast better for you. So as we say here at the Untranslatable Podcast, Dziękujemy, muchas gracias, cześć, and do svidania. Put some Windex on it, Jared.
I certainly remember the importance of Windex in that movie, but I didn't realize that they were using it for medical
health
purposes.
remedies. Oh, yeah. Yep. Who needs Windex when you can have dried gecko and seahorses, Jared?
That's true. That was hard to look at, the geckos.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, trust me, dude, it was quite a shock walking into some of these places because you could see some of the traditional stuff. And that is one unfortunate thing about traditional Chinese medicine is it has caused a lot of species to go either extinct or endangered. Because they use a lot of really rare body parts of different animals. I know certain monkey species have been basically extinct because of it. Turtles, all sorts of stuff.
That's a real bummer. Thanks.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, there's always